どうしたって消せない夢も止まれない今も誰かのために強くなれるなら
What's up, guys? So, we have been caught on fire by the new anime of the season, Demon Slayer. Now, this was one that I was very excited about when I first saw it because it has the word demon and slayer in it.
Yeah.
So a lot of
two key words in the anime community.
Yeah, a lot of visceral energy there. I was like, oh, cool. And oh, look, the first episode has tragedy in it. I'm hooked. We got the Trinity. So I was just watching it, and it had some great animation, but it just pulled me in. And I run over to this guy, and I'm like, we have to do a reaction to it. We have to do this or that. But we were caught up in some things. We're busy.
We were in the middle of JoJo, and honestly, just scheduling-wise, the release date didn't really work out for us. Yeah. We've also picked up Dr. Stone and Fire Force. Fire Force we've dropped off of, but Dr. Stone we're continuing. Yeah. But after episode 19, we really just felt like we needed to talk about Tanjiro.
Yeah, and we're gonna do a full review of the whole season when it ends, and what's to come, and maybe season 2 we'll do a live reaction, but we have to talk about what it means, because it has laid such a juicy foundation, and I mean, I feel like I'm watching the first couple episodes of My Hero Academia.
Yeah, no, I was going to even talk about that. We talked in previous videos and stuff about, kind of the gap generation to replace the shonen big three of, One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach, and how it kind of crumbled. There wasn't really anything here. And we've talked about My Hero Academia being this, new pillar of shonen.
It's the Naruto, right? So if this feels like the new Yu Yu Hakusho.
Well, it's interesting, too, because, I went, after we watched the episodes, got hooked on them, I personally got the feeling when I watched the first couple episodes, there's no way this is just a shonen manga, the use of music, the use of tragedy, the way they frame the story didn't feel like a typical shonen arc to me, so I kind of pushed back on it being a typical shonen story. But then, I found the manga, and I went and read the whole manga.
Got all that juice.
It is a really shonen story, but what they've done at UFO Table with the anime is turn it into an absolute masterpiece. And that's what we like to see.
Just 3 folds. I mean, for me, I'm going to sit through the first season here. I really that's what I did with My Hero. I watched the first couple of seasons, and then after that I read the manga. But, right now, I'm still in the middle of episode 19 in my mind, constantly. But I was hooked after the first couple of episodes. So, the training arc, sort of the foundation, we get the initial tragedy of the story, right? Mm-hmm. Spoilers, obviously, but Tanjiro's sister is turned into a demon, and the young shonen boy is forced to make a decision under duress, under pressure, and he does, and proves his worth, so now he needs to train to be a demon slayer. And, God, I mean, talk about a concise and perfect training montage. It's incredible. Instead of focusing on, maybe a flashback, or maybe what the sensei told him.
Or what the, power system is.
No!
We're just dumped into. He's a human boy dumped into, you need to learn how to fight demons.
Well, you need to learn how to slash a frickin' boulder, and that is the super comparison, right? No, you need to use a sword to cut a giant stone boulder, something that in the metaphysics of anime,
it's inhumanly possible.
Right, it isn't humanly possible, but in anime it seems like a normal thing, so it's in this nice, warm pocket of well, I mean, this is an anime, he should be able to do that, and him meeting the ghosts.
Exactly, that's the thing. Him slotting him in where he has to do this task that we've seen be incredibly easy in anime, but also knowing in real life is very hard, puts not just him, but the entire world of Demon Slayer in a place where we're finally I understand kind of the limits of what's going on here.
Right.
And what surpassing those limits means.
Exactly. We get a feel on the power structure. And again, from this, we are shown water techniques. We are expected to believe super speed, regenerability.
Sure.
All those things are normal. And basically anything that humans do, it's they're using breathing techniques, that's fine. But this is the moment that defines that. Him entering this spiritual state, and that's what's exciting about it, and that's what I feel really defines this show, because it's obvious, right? They're fighting demons, of course they're going to use chakra, or they're going to use their senses, or they're going to use but this sort of physical grasping of what needs to be done, and him not remembering cutting the rock, and him sort of it being completely a mental battle and him suppressing.
Becoming in that state being such a transcendental force and what human spirituality means, means that, again, when we get to something like episode 19 and we are killing a demon, where his mental state and his spiritual state is in that moment, we know is always brought back to that same point where he cut the rock.
Right, exactly. When he saw the opening thread, and that's a great, I mean, that's your typical, every anime character needs a thing, and Tanjiro's sense of smell, it's
great, yeah.
It's a heightened sense, it's that touch of predator, natural human, like, sort of focus that allows you to kind of, like, connect with him. You're like, oh, he smells it. I mean, I guess that works as a metaphor. Like, you know, it's great. But, again, what you just said is also very important, and why I also liken it to Yu Yu Hakusho, or maybe even Hunter x Hunter. They kill people. Or, well, I mean, not people, but, like, demons. But there is that concept of kill. And that is something that does set it apart a little bit from, say, a shonen anime, where, like My Hero Academia, where that's not a huge focus, or it's a little too intense. I mean, there are murderers and that concept in those universes, but this is directly dealing...
It's a much darker, more sensitive kind of series.
Right.
Even just on that, like, you know, comparing it to, like, a Pillar, I feel like Demon Slayer is probably going to land more in the spot of, like, a Full Metal Alchemist did.
Okay, yeah,
in a similar way, there is it's a female mangaka writing it, which I think the sensibilities really come through in this series.
Oh, yeah, Nezuko, man. Jesus, she's strong. I mean, she could be stronger. That's always the concern,
and
right?
Maybe she will be.
And maybe she will be. She's great. She's doing the best she can.
But
and
we're developing a series anyway. Just kind of we don't want to get like too bogged down in like the kind of in between episodes, but kind of moving to episode 19.
Oh yeah.
You know, everything we know about like what we learned in that training arc, you know, is kind of repeated throughout the series, and then we get to, you know, we think this is a moon. He, you know, can't break the skin, but he can break the web, and then we get to an actual moon, and the web snaps his sword. Mm-hmm. You know, that power kind of build up immediately in a character that comes out of the dark. The thing that I love the most about this enemy Spider-Man in this episode 19 is that he's just black out of the web. It's just like, we don't know anything about the backstory of this character. Yeah. This is a throwaway villain.
He's a guy
that is becoming such a monumental moment in what it means for this character.
He's so beautiful in his simplicity, right? He's just a perfect example of the opposite of what Tanjiro has with Nezuko, and it's so exciting to see him be like, he gets annoyed at how a demon is treating another demon because it's rude.
It's
because
not like it's anti-family. It's anti-everything Tanjiro and Nezuko.
He's like, I'm not gonna stand for that, and he pushes himself. And again, it's the shonen concept of like, oh, finding a cliff and then pushing it to the next level. But even that dig at the start of the episode where they talk about how like, oh, you know, your life flashes before your eyes, you know?
Yeah, it's
like,
a fantastic metaphor that also, again, it takes that moment of, you know, anime shonen scream through power and it's like, no, that's a logic box.
Yeah, exactly.
But when we get to what the bonds of family mean, that's spirituality.
Yeah, and him, like, yeah, exactly, him, and that's what's exciting about it, because in this moment, instead of just Tanjiro remembering what his father told him that one time, Nezuko was approached for the first time sort of like by her awareness of her family. Like, she does not wake up and help and activate her blood demon art, her form, until her mother reminds her that Tanjiro might die, that her bond could be severed here, and she isn't going to let that happen, and she is exactly the reason why he's alive. Yes, the spider dude's killed because of Tanjiro, but she makes sure that bond exists.
Even Tanjiro's, you know, kind of moment there where he uses the fire god step, that is from a memory with his father, with his family. They both are boosted by their family.
And so often in lots of stories, like even like, I don't know, friggin' Harry Potter or any sort of story with an orphaned child, when do we really talk about, when the memories with my family? Yes, I know Harry was younger, that's a bad example. The point is, like, very rarely, all too often are we exclude they're sad because everything's dead and they didn't have a family.
Or it's that opposite thing where in Bleach it's like, well, he's half this blood and half this other blood, so that's what his superpower comes from. It's like, the memories and connection that these characters actually had with their family.
The human elements and the fact that they went back to it, because I was so ready to never hear about Tanjiro's siblings. I was so ready to never hear about his mother or father. I literally assumed never to hear about the father. I was just like, it's an anime dead. It's like Deku's dead. I'm never gonna know who the hell he is. Bye. Like, we're talking about him, but like, he's like, God, what did my father tell me? Like, it's crazy, man.
It's good. And that's deep. And that's paired with spectacular soundtrack and music and spectacular animation. And I don't even mean just like the beauty of the art of the animation, which is on a whole nother transcendent level. But also the timing, the way that the sword hits the neck, the fire bursts from one side and then out of the other side. Again, the timing, it's so beautiful and well
the
choreographed.
artistic decision for the ending note cards and the story that told, and how, like, we heard her say her first words, and how we saw her without her mouth guard for the first time with her brother. Like, in these post-credit beautiful, like, watercolor art shots, like, that is it. They're trying to say something with that. They're heightening this moment.
Exactly. They're using everything at their disposal that anime has, and I mean that's the temporal nature of, editing footage. It's not a comic book where the reader decides how much time they look at things.
Right.
It's using the art, it's using the music, it's using everything anime has to boost the story, and that's what makes episode 19 a masterpiece.
Oh yeah, that definitely solidified the rest of this series. And yeah, I could gush all about the other characters too. They're like flint. They just, you bang them together, there's sparks. But we won't ramble too long here. We just had to say something about episode 19. So if you guys want to hear us talk more about Demon Slayer, maybe focus in on some of the characters, maybe look closer at more episodes to come, maybe do a recap review, just leave a comment below and let us know what you think.
眠れない